In beautiful words, it is called the play of consciousness. For me, it is the drama of consciousness. And you can see drama every day in your day life. Let's look around. Look around in awareness. If you don't look around in awareness, you will be caught up in the drama. You will be a part and parcel of that. You will be playing another role because you are also in the drama. You are in the play of consciousness. You are playing also a role here. I am playing a role here right now. In whatever situations, there's a role that I got to play according to my karma. That's the role assigned to me. So I'm playing that drama. So if I'm not aware, I get very serious with the role. Greetings, dear ones. Today I am continuing the video on what I was talking about, how suffering is a major part in everybody's life, especially in the path of liberation. If you study all the beings who have reached that point of evolution where they have transcended all the grossness, if you look back, their life has been of immense suffering. Now, there are two different aspects in this which I want to again go deeper than last time. I just said that suffering is bound to be there and it's not uncommon. Why did I make that video was to focus on the fact that you need not evade suffering. Why? Because if we keep on thinking that, to get over something beautiful, like, to reach God, or to reach that state of highest spiritual evolution, which is believed to be out of all the kind of suffering, because it's supposed to be a blissful state. So when we tread on that path to the blissful state, to the supposedly destination of blissfulness, we assume that the journey also has to be blissful because we are going towards something divine, something positive, something very nice. And if it is a movement towards something that is very divine and nice, why there has to be suffering? How can there be suffering? That is when we even question God. God, are you listening to me? God, are you there? What happened? Why are you not looking at me? I am suffering so much. I am trying to reach you. You are that state beyond suffering. So that if I am moving towards you, why is this suffering still with me? This is our supposedly belief that if we are moving to something very divine, our life has to be divine. If we are moving something towards positive, our life and the results has to be positive. It's just a belief. Due to that belief, we try to push away that suffering and we do not take it as normal. We always try to push it away. And in that conflict creates more suffering. When suffering comes to us and you try to evade it, dodge it, or try to move away from it or escape it, know that it's going to immensely multiply, because that suffering which you have evaded is waiting for you at another corner, and the conflict and the suffering that you have in that escape, that you move, that additional suffering, it causes more suffering. I'm not sure if you're getting this. But it is all in the evasion that the suffering multiplies. So that video I made to tell you that you are not alone. When we think that, oh, my life is so horrible, so miserable, everybody's life is beautiful, why am I suffering? If you see, our experiences are so self-centered. It is always on us, me. So when you are all the time in that me factor, you cannot project your consciousness to something else. You cannot see, you cannot understand, you cannot perceive the suffering of another being to that extent which they are suffering. You might see it, but you might not relate to it. And I am telling you, there are multiple times those many people and beings that are suffering more intensely than us at any given point of time. I'm telling you this. At any given point of time, if you are aware, if you can just look into that, if you move away from the self and if you look out, when you turn your attention out, your awareness outside, and if you can perceive it, you will perceive that there is immense suffering in the world. And when you perceive that, that is why we say, look around and have compassion. Because when you look around and when you try to feel the pain of others, you will notice that your pain, your suffering is so much less. You will notice the blessings of your life. Right now, we don't notice the blessings of our life because we have been blessed abundantly. We have everything in us. Everything. We have a shelter, we have people around us, we have enough money, we have enough food, everything. I'm just talking generally. We have something more always than what we are cribbing about. What we are cribbing about is the attention that we are putting as our suffering, and we have magnified it to such a level that we feel that, oh my God, I am stuck in my suffering. My suffering is so immense. Even forgetting that where is the root of this suffering? This root of the suffering is something called Karma. Karma. Whose karma? Am I suffering somebody else's karma? See, if we are on the path of spirituality, we got to be very practical. What I am trying to be here is very, very practical. Practical spirituality. Question yourself. Who is this suffering? Whose suffering is this actually? Have I borrowed somebody else's suffering? Whose suffering is this? And who created? What is the source of this suffering? We will all know on the path. On the path, everybody 100% know that I am the cause of my suffering because something I have done in the past or past lifetimes, which maybe I don't even remember, that is coming back to me, and life is trying to balance itself and justify itself. So the first understanding in spirituality is this. This is why my master always had a rooted teaching saying that I am 100% responsible for my life. He always taught that. Because until we realize this and put it into our being, I am 100% responsible for whatever condition I am in right now. If we go into this, if we sink into this and we embrace this truth, you cannot evade this, I'm telling you. You evade this, there will be immense suffering waiting for you. I'm telling you very practically. You have to understand that I am 100% responsible. Why am I responsible? Because I have created that sometime, which I do not know. And what am I doing here? I am here to now clean up that mess. Here means spirituality. Why am I turning spiritual? Because I am becoming awakened. What is spirituality? Being awakened. You get awake. You are awake from your dream, the ignorance, the feeling that, oh my God, I am a victim. I'm so nice and everybody is so horrible. Everybody is treating me so horrible. It's not that. This I'm talking very, very bluntly and very straightly because this is the first aspect of spirituality. This is the first aspect which all the mystics teach, all the great saints, all the great masters. Any saint you approach and you try to talk to them about victimhood, they will point those things back to you. Why do many avduts and mystics laugh when you suffer? It's fun for them. They are watching the play of consciousness. So if somebody is going and brooding and crying, it's of no use. Like I gave you an example of Avduta Karunakar Swami. He was there and he was a Trikaldarshi. He knew everything. So nobody could dodge him. We dodge the mystics. We dodge the Avduts because we know we cannot dodge them. We will be caught because they will go direct to the point, and that is what I am right now speaking, directly to the point, because that's very important if we want to actually self-transform. It's upon us. We do not want to transform. We want to only brood on our problems and about how heavy life is about. It is going to become more and more heavier because you create what you think, feel and experience all the time. Simple law of universe. We have not created. It's a universal law. Whatever you feel and think all day long, all the time what you think, that I am a victim, somebody did something to me, this person did this to me, how it is unjustified, I have done so much and they have not done anything to me. Who knows? Look into your past. If you can look into your past, look into it and you will see that you also did a lot to somebody else when they did everything to you. It's a give and take, my dear. Please understand this. It's a give and take. There is no point sitting crying that somebody did something to me, somebody is wrong to me. I'm telling this from practical my experiences. I am talking from experience. I am not talking from book. I have talked this multiple times where I was victimized so many times in my life. I felt like a victim when people walked over me, when people did this, did that. Okay, fret and fume. I cry, fret and fume. This happened, that happened. But at the end of the day, if I got to deal with it, I got to settle down in my meditation, look deeper into it, and my awareness reveals into what is the truth. And when the truth is revealed in front of me, the truth directly looks into me. My soul looks into my face and says, my dear, you're not as innocent as you look. Shake that mask off. It tells me, it has told me many times, shake that mask off. You want to escape suffering, you want to embrace that divinity, that godness, you want to realize that self, shake that pittiness off. Because you are not someone to be pitied upon. Look at what you have done. Look clearly. Do you really think you need pity? When you understand that, you will start pitying others. You will start pitying others because then you will get awakened and you will see, oh my God, the drama of life. So much drama is going on and I'm stuck in this nonsense drama. Nonsense drama. Somebody is getting hurt, I get hurt. Somebody is dancing to something, I also dance with them. Somebody is making me dance, I dance. And then I say, oh, people make me dance. Why? Because you have not become aware of these things. When you become aware of the drama, I call it pure drama. See, in beautiful words, it is called the play of consciousness. For me, it is the drama of consciousness. And you can see drama every day in your day life. Let's look around. Look around in awareness. If you don't look around in awareness, you will be caught up in the drama. You will be a part and parcel of that. You will be playing another role because you are also in the drama. You are in the play of consciousness. You are playing also a role here. I am playing a role here right now. In whatever situations, there's a role that I got to play according to my karma. That's the role assigned to me. So I am playing that drama. So if I am not aware, I get very serious with the role. Imagine somebody is playing the role of Ravana and somebody is playing the role of Rama. Drunkard. The other times he might be drinking and then he's come to the stage. He's an actor. So now he believes he is Rama. He's got so serious into that role because actors have to get very serious into the role. Imagine he gets very serious into the role. Hanuman gets very serious into the role. Ravana gets very serious into the role. Imagine what will happen if they start believing they are Ravana, if they start believing they are Hanuman, if they start believing they are Ram. Imagine a drunkard believing he is Ram. Imagine a guy who has, fear of even walking straight or looking down from heights, imagining him to be Hanuman. Hanuman is supposed to fly. And imagine what if he does anything like that or tries to do also. He cannot. He'll fall flat on his face. Imagine Ravan trying to be Ravana when he is not. He might be a good person, but he's acting. He's playing a role. That is what actually happens in our life also. In our real life, you see, we are playing multiple roles as this and that. So many people, they are playing so many roles. So many roles we are playing. We are playing the role of a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, a brother, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a servant, an owner. So many relationships are going on. And we are not that. The essential part is we are actually not that. Imagine, we are not that. And we believe to be that. What are we? We are pure consciousness. We are not these things. And that is why all the enlightened beings the scriptures, everything come to remind us, you are not that. That is why constantly we are being told, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intellect, I am not this, I am not that, neti, 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 neti. Then what am I? What am I left with if I remove everything from my so-called life? The pure consciousness. So that pure consciousness is actually got into this drama of life, and now when people start believing they are playing that roles and they take it too seriously, I can see it. It's a pitiable condition. My awareness shows that. That is why I am trying to share this awareness, spread this awareness that you become aware of it. First step in spirituality is to become aware of this drama. This drama called the play of consciousness. Know who you really are. This all helps when I'm contemplating, like I was in Tirunamalai and I was contemplating on who am I, who's the real I, what aspect is that. And when you go deeper and deeper and you see, everything becomes so crystal clear. That gives me a root foundation. From that experience of knowing who am I, I'm seeing everything very distantly. I don't get attached to that role. I don't get attached to the dramas played by the people attached to me. They are playing dramas because they are completely in that grossness. They have not grown in awareness. But you are gifted. Now, if you are gifted with that awareness and you have done everything to realize that thing, and still you get caught up in that, imagine what foolishness. What is the difference between you and them? Yes, this is one aspect. The other is, these things will happen because that is where the challenge lies. The whole path of spirituality is when we shift into consciousness, shift into awareness, and drift back into non-awareness. This is the whole play all about. It is to try to be centered in that awareness, but life and the grossness and the maya, the illusion, pulls you down. It kicks you off that feeling and doesn't allow you to be settled in that place. So when it kicks you off, you tumble down. And the process of getting back in there, that is shifting back into that awareness, is all the play about. Any path, any religion, any spiritual systems you take, everything is based on this. To be centered in that state of pure awareness and to keep shrugging off all these unwanted games that happen with us. Now you cannot directly just cut out just with the knowledge. You have to have awareness for it. You have to have awareness. That is why it's very important that you practice conscious awareness. When you become too mindful of everything, every aspect about you, about others, about life, it becomes very easy. So I was talking about, in this video I was talking about the suffering. Now why does this suffering come? I'm coming back to the root point of this video. Why does this suffering come? First, I know it is my own karma that has come back to me. So what is the first step? First step is I accept 100% responsibility for what I am and whatever is happening to me. When I accept, then is the next step. Without acceptance, you are going to be hovering just there. You do whatever spiritual practice you want, whatever you want you do, but you will come and fall back there because you have not taken responsibility for your life. The victimhood should go. The feeling of victimhood, I have been victimized by life, I have been victimized by people and circumstances, that should go. That is the first feeling. When that will go, when we are deep awareness of I am the cause of my problem. So once you take that responsibility, the next step is, okay, I have caused it and I am suffering now what? I accept I have done it. Now what? Now things become easier. Okay, when I have done the thing, now the full focus what will happen is instead of going outside, it will turn inward. Because I am the cause. It will never say you are the cause. See how it is? Because if this first step is not recognized, what is going to happen? Any step you take further, you might do meditation, you might do this practice, that practice, but again you will blame, oh, that person is responsible. This happened to me, the life did that to me, this to me, and you are again brooding back into that space. And when you brood back into that space, means you are denying taking responsibility. You are pushing the blame to something else, someone else outside of you. And when you see the irony, when you blame something outside, nature, the universe tells this person has not realized the basic fundamental of life, principle of life, that you are the cause of it. Because until you take responsibility, how are you going to clear it up? You won't clear the muck. If you are in a room and somebody has spilled coffee, if 10 people are sitting and somebody spills the coffee, who has to bend down and take the spilled coffee and wipe the spilled coffee there? Who has to pick up the glass? The person who dropped it. Now if that person drops it and he says that, let somebody pick it up, what will happen? This is what happens when you don't take responsibility. So, if you don't take responsibility, nature responds in a different way, telling that. Let me give you more examples and give you more experiences where nature says this, where I evidently prove it to you that you have done it. You have to take responsibility for it. No, I won't take responsibility. Somebody has done this. Okay, wait for another experience. This is how we pile up experience, one after the other, and then people say, I don't know my life. I have got repeated experience, repeated sufferings coming to me. Same thing, repeat. It's on a repeat mode. Why God is not merciful with me? Why? I can't understand. And then we get frustrated with the spiritual life itself. Nothing happens here. It doesn't work, it doesn't work the way you are thinking. Because nature, the law of universe, works in some other manner. So, see, get this idea clear. If that root thing is not understood, it will keep repeating you. And how do we evolve in spirituality? Because the more faster you understand, okay, I have created this. Next step is, okay, how do I clear it? Then you will suddenly see yourself leaping into those kind of experiences. Life will start giving you all the experiences which will help and support you to clean up that mess. Because you have taken responsibility. You'll end up doing, you'll end up going, you'll end up meeting, you'll end up, creating all those things, all those experiences which needs to wash away that dirt, which you have created. And very happily you will create it. Now see, if you have not taken that responsibility, how difficult it is. But if you have taken, okay, I have cleaned it, easily you will work on yourself. If you say, I am a greedy person. No, I am not greedy. If you don't accept it, how are you going to get over greed? If you don't accept your anger, how are you going to get over anger? You will justify your anger and say that this is blah, blah, blah. Because this person did that way, this person did that way, I am supposed to behave in this manner. So that is why my anger is there. That's your justification. Nature doesn't work. Nature will give you more experiences where you finally take that responsibility that you are the cause of that anger. You have to clear that anger. Nothing else. When that happens, poof, very easily some experiences will come into your life and you'll have that transition. You'll transcend that. Suddenly you'll see something happens and you'll transcend it. This I have seen these patterns in my life. I'm talking from there. Some things were so hard for me to digest, so difficult for me to overcome. But now I've seen they've gone off my life. Why? Because I took responsibility for it. I didn't sit waiting for how to clean that up. I just took responsibility and went on living my life spiritually. The universe, the cosmos did it. Whatever experience, whatever way it has to send to counteract that and clean up that mess, it will do. And without your knowing, it will happen. And this process, what happens? In the process, while I'm walking with this acceptance, another thing is there is no resistance. Because I have fully accepted, I have done it. Okay. And so anything comes, okay, fine. Not externally, I'm telling internally. I talk to myself. I pacify myself. Okay, I've done it. Okay. So this is one thing. Easiness is there in the transition. Another is there is no resistance. So there are no basically too much hurdles or conflicts. You are easily able to go. Third is you develop patience. You know that, okay, maybe I've created a lot of stuff. Let me go on doing what I have to do. Let people do what they want to do. Let me do what I have to do. So everything I'm telling you, suddenly you will see the whole inwardness coming. Everything from outside will just shift into inward. That is where spirituality begins. Spirituality is inwardness. It is never external. Everything has to happen within. And how do you turn within? I'm telling you, it is by shifting into awareness. Only when you shift into awareness, you see you have become within. You have turned inward. You cannot become aware and throw your senses outside. No. Even if your senses are outside and if you shift into awareness, the experience is inward. Are you getting it? Even if I'm looking at something outside, I'm looking at it very grossly and I'm seeing somebody's standing there and making faces at me. So I'm getting bugged up. Why? Because my attention is now outside. Now, when I shift into awareness, I see that same person making faces in a different awareness and I see from within what is making him do, and it becomes more funny to me. It's rather than irritating, it becomes more funnier to me. Somebody is doing that. Somebody is stuck up in some drama. You're seeing that drama and it becomes more funny to me. That's why Avaduts laugh when you are suffering. When you tell, oh, and you start crying, I've done it, they'll just laugh. Yeah, I was talking about Karnakar Swami, Avaduta, who once he was a Trikaldarshi. He was sitting there and somebody went to him, and a female, and she said, I have got this pain in my back, and please heal it. And she was crying, and the victim, the self-pity. Since so many years I have this deep pain, and life is troubling me, I'm not able to do that, and crying all the time. So now what has happened is, that person looks, Karnakar Swami, he looks very deeply into that lady, and then he says, oh, now you're feeling the pain. You forgot the time when, those small disco lights were there, and you were dancing to glory, and you laughed loudly. What did that mean? It meant that she was probably dancing in some discotheque or some pub some time ago or some years ago, which she forgot, and that cause of that, what do you call it? The pain, back pain, started from there. The root cause was there. Something happened there. I don't know what. It must have fallen or sprained or something. But he was laughing while she was crying. Why? Because the Avadut can see. The cause is you. You have forgotten that. And here you are self-pitying and crying that life has done this. Life has not done anything to anybody. So this is how the mystics look into this. So these are my reflections when I've been studying the mystics, when I've seen their lives and seen how they are handling things and what might be their perspective. These are the perspectives. So if we can catch that, what is the use of studying the mystics if we cannot study and contemplate and bring that learning into our lives? So when I contemplate on these things and I learn, I try to share these things, and these are very important, very deep important lessons for us to understand how life functions. So the suffering I was talking about, whatever suffering we are calling, we are suffering so much. First is, we are the cause of that. Second is to ease it out and to let go of that, and to let the universe or the cosmos or the supreme being or God handle it. What I do, my duty. The rest of the drama that I have to play, I play the drama. Being in this body, whatever I have to do, I do, but in full awareness. If I am not in awareness, and if I fall into the drama, then repeated dramas are awaiting me this lifetime or next lifetime. There is no mukti. We cannot run away from it. Because whatever we create, we have to come back for it. So best is to stay in awareness and to see this suffering where it is coming from. Now, lastly, these sufferings are a blessings in disguise. What is grace? I want to speak on what is grace. Many people have many different types of definitions for grace. If you ask what is grace, they will have multiple definitions. All good from their perspective. For my perspective is something different. For me, grace is these things that come in the form of suffering. That is grace. I'm telling you, believe it or not. This is from my own life experience. Whenever I suffered, I've seen that grace is working on me. It is because that grace is shining upon me that I am able to look through that suffering. That is great grace in it. But I'm telling you, even if you're not able to look into it, what is causing that suffering in your life is grace. Why? How can you justify this as, why will grace to bring pain and suffering to you? Yes, it can. Because when you suffer only, you turn inward. When you suffer only, you look up. There is a saying that when life brings you down on your knees, that is the best position to pray. So, the ego self is there. The ego self is the barrier to self-realization. It doesn't allow you to realize who you are, the self, the higher self, or the supreme being, who is God. You cannot realize that being till the ego self is there. The ego has got all these aspects of all these drama, strong drama characteristics are there in the ego self, including the victimization. Sense of victimization also comes from the ego self, and the ego self is the barrier to realizing your real self. So what the divinity does, or what grace does, what the grace of all the masters do, the ascended masters, they are all spiritual beings. There are many spiritual beings, I'm telling you, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not. Astrally, there are many beings, astral beings with you. Your guides, your angels, the ascended masters, they are all watching. They are all watching. They cannot interfere in your decisions, but they are all watching, and they are happy when lessons are sent your way, because with every lesson, they are all waiting, watching, and waiting for you to transcend it. They are saying that, oh, now is an opportunity that this person can rise above it and see and rise above it. But if you fail and if you topple, they also say, oh my God, they sigh. And they say, okay, let's wait for another opportunity. They all want you to ascend. So this has to be realized. So the sufferings that come, what is suffering? The suffering is your conflict and your refusal to let go of that ego self. As I told you, victimization, all these things, self-pity, all these are part of our ego, because it wants to feel great. I'm suffering so much. All these I'm taking from, I talked to two friends just recently on the phone, and they were on this mode of, life is this way, I'm this way. I will end my life and all this. Whatever you do, you're going to come back. There is no ending of life. What life are you talking about ending? You can only end the physical body. But your soul, with your manomaya kosha, jnanamaya kosha, all these koshas are there with you. You will carry all these impressions with you. And even in the astral body, you are going to have those suffering, immense, multiplied. So it's not a wise thing to do. Wise thing is to take those lessons and understand those lessons and go through it, transcend it, take responsibility for it. So all these things are coming from these two talks that I had with my friends. If you know, I have begun the personal consultations, the personal sessions with people, and this is how slowly. And I am using those things only to give a feedback here, and to help you understand, because I learn from a lot of things which I am dealing with others and with myself. So I was telling you, the suffering, the immense suffering that comes, are those gifts of the grace, because through grace that suffering comes to you. And that, remember one thing, when you are not suffering, and if you are in the role of this worldly maya, if you are fallen in this worldly maya, if you are very much stuck in your gross self, and imagine you look around, there will be many people who have everything, and they are just enjoying life. Of course, till now it's well and good, but it won't be forever, because once upon a time, once a point in life will come where you will have to actually turn back and face divinity and move towards the divinity. So when is that time going to come? Many people, it's not yet come, so they are enjoying, they are stuck in the grossness. Let them do it. Your time has come. Your time has come long back. That is why you are turned now towards the light, and you are carrying a darkness behind you, the shadow aspect also of you. So that will continue till you keep walking and you shed all those layers of ignorance one by one. And now, one by one, all these so-called sufferings, which is again our own creations, comes back to us in the form of learning lessons and moving, transcending above them. Because only when you learn every single lesson, transcend it and let go and evolve and move ahead, have you satisfactorily completed that part of the lesson, which is very important for you to go towards that realization. Without that, you cannot carry all this muck and go towards light. It's impossible. You have to let go of your baggages. You have to be light. You have to be free. Freedom has to be there. To fly, you cannot carry all this load. You have to leave it back. The problem is, we don't want to leave it. So, suffering comes and is actually poking. It's like, you're carrying all this load, all these bags on your head, everything, you're carrying all this baggage. And then Mr. Suffering is coming with a pointed stick and is tickling you or pointing or poking you, or trying to push a certain baggage from you. And that baggage is so dear to me, that attachment, all those things, so dear to me. You can't let go of that, because you experience pain when you're shifting that. You're not knowing that the pain that you're holding, the weight that you're bearing, That is so painful, but you have not become aware. You feel all these chota motas, little pains are immense pain, because that is how Maya keeps you stuck in all these little pains and makes you believe that this is the main pain. No, the main burden that you are carrying is this inability to let go and carrying all these attachments with you. So much of attachments stuck with life. So every moment, I've seen how life teaches lessons. Whatever man leads to learn, that kind of experiences comes into that man's life. Because in my personal interactions, I see that if somebody is too attached to somebody, you will see that attachment only giving you problems in so many ways. It will give you repeatedly. Let's say a family member, you're very attached, or you are controlling that person, or that person is controlling you, or whatever. You're too attached. You will see lot of conflict and immense suffering arising from that relationship. Now you might say that person is not a problem. The abstract quality which has made you stick to that being in the name of attachment, that is the problem. So that suffering that person is giving you is to teach you the lesson of detachment. In awareness, if you see this, you catch the lesson, and once you catch the lesson, you let go of the lesson, not the person. You need not let go of the person. Person is there. So it's not the people who are causing those problems. It's the lessons. So in multiple ways, life comes and teaches us one by one. Anything you take. If you are too much attached to your wealth, for example, you will see a lot of problems arising from that wealth. The same wealth will start giving you problem. If you are too proud about your health, you will see problems beginning with your health and challenges coming with your health, because you are too attached to your body. You don't want to let go of your body. You are so much drowned in your body consciousness that you feel you are the body. I am the body. So suffering will come to you and make you realize that you are not the body. There's something beyond that. A dose of spirituality along with that will help you realize that you are not that body. So when you catch the spiritual teaching, I am not the body, this awareness in entirety should be there. What I am speaking here. Once you are aware of all these things, it's easier to learn those lessons. Lessons are not bad. The term, I personally don't like using the word lessons, because lessons automatically makes us feel victimized again. Somebody is teaching us a lesson. We can call it challenges, or I don't know how you call it. Any word you give it. Something that soothes our egos. Because you have to be very tactful in dealing with this. The most important thing is how you get to deal with this. You use tactics or anything, but how you realize the truth. That's more important. So if lessons sound too much painful to you, you can use some simple words like learnings. I have to learn. Some learnings are coming to me. So guys, this will help you understand about suffering and why we suffer and how suffering is important. The first video that I made a video on Arosha restaurant, and in that I had a deep message about suffering. So because I myself have suffered a lot in life. Now when I look back, I have suffered so badly, so much of pain and turmoil. Now I feel it was not required. Only if I had that awareness at time. No problem. That also I cannot say, because this was also needed. Why? To teach me awareness. So now when I learn awareness, that's the priceless gift that I've got, and that I realize that this is how grace works. Grace of my master, grace of all the ascended masters, they work in this manner. So grace hidden in suffering. See always, whenever there is suffering, see what is there that I need to learn from that. And how can I go beyond it? I can go beyond it only by turning within, by going inward. When I go inward, I have so much of things that I can see very clearly, and the external things I let go one by one. I cannot control people. I cannot control anybody outside of me. No, it's impossible. But see my foolishness. I am constantly stuck trying to change others. If I don't get love from others, I want to force them to love me. Why? It's their wish. Maybe they have had enough of your love. Maybe they are fed up with you. So it's okay. They have their right. Do that. You are also fed up of them. You have your right to do what next? Move on with life. Because life is teaching you these attachments are going to be your suffering. The more you are attached to it, even when you say, people don't love me, I have done so much for people, but they have not given me, you are attached to them. Remember this. Attachment doesn't mean in love. Even in hatred, you are attached. If you always are blaming your enemy and you are contemplating on your enemy, he did this to me, he did this to me, you are attached to that enemy. Remember this. So what is life teaching with those suffering that you have with your friends or families or enemies? Detachment. Learn that. How do you be detached? I'll make another video on that because it's a big, huge subject. But I can just brief you. You can be detached by focusing inward and trying to see what have you come to do here in life. What is your prime purpose actually that you have come here to do in life? Because then all the essentials will turn from external to inward, internal. You will prioritize a lot of things about your life. There is so much to do. I'm telling you, there is so much to do for yourself to be liberated. The self is already liberated, but the ego self that is holding around it, for that to get liberated out of it, to be released, and that you realize that there is so much of work to do on yourself. You cannot do that when you're stuck in the external, and Maya is trying to do that. Illusion is trying to keep you away from doing that. Realize this. Once you realize this, you'll leave all these unwanted, petty things. They are really petty. It looks huge because you're focused on them. You focus on yourself, they will suddenly become petty. Till now, you're focused on them, you have become petty. That is why that misery, that self-pity comes from. Miserable, I am a miserable person. Because you have become petty. You have made yourself petty. Why? Because you have given importance to somebody else outside you. Are you getting that? So when you turn within, you are giving now importance to yourself, and everything outside becomes petty. So you don't bother much about them. You only focus on what you have to do. You are not worried if anybody loves you, if anybody cares for you, if anybody does for you. How does it matter? The only one that can truly love you is yourself. Because you know yourself. You are unconditional towards yourself. And the divine. The divine supreme loves you unconditionally. That is why all these dramas are going on. Because of that love. Because it wants you to come back to that God self. And you won't come back. It knows. If you are stuck in all these things, it won't come back. So all these sufferings are needed. That's what I'm saying. This video is suffering is essential. So this is I take your leave, dear ones. Maybe I'll talk about detachment some other time. So with much divine love and light to you, I hope the sound was clear. The wind is blowing here. May we all be blessed. May we all evolve. Be blessed.